Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus again, and I find an urgency to come and speak to you if you will listen. Today, I want to kind of share with you why I'm always talking about you, the people, having the responsibility to protect one another from anything that would rob anyone of its peace or his or her peace, prosperity, and joy. You see, I tell you these things because you are being robbed of them, and I know you want them. And the path that you have chosen to acquire them is only going to lead you to more of the same. You see, we have accepted a system that we had hoped would work, but it doesn't work. And we won't admit it because we put people in power who promotes the system and its continuity. And we have been given an overload of things just to survive from day to day till we really don't have time to concentrate on what those prerequisites are to get this peace, prosperity, and joy. And those who we have entrusted to look after our behalf have failed us. For example, for those of you who are familiar with J. Edgar Hoover and how J. Edgar Hoover would go and violate all the rules of the things that I speak to you about to get dirt on other people to control and manipulate them for his own ends or for ends that relate to concerns that he might have. All wrong, but it happened and you know about it, but you haven't done anything to change it. You have heard about ideas, information that has been found relevant to some issues that are of human or American importance, and that information has been marked out, called you don't have the right to see it. Even the freedom of information that you can get, some of those documents have information scratched out. Some information has been put aside and say you can only listen to it or read it or be familiar with it 50 years after it has happened or after those people who caused it to happen have died. When you yourselves probably would have died, and the people who experience it 50 years from now are not aware of really what's going on. You have police departments who beat people up because they got a gun and got the law on their side, and they know that any investigation that comes about probably is going to work in their favor against the citizen. You have agencies that are designed to help you, and they are all sold out to some other interest. You got your politicians that you send to Washington to represent you, and you got the lobbyists in there who represent other interests, and you lose. You got everything you can imagine working against you. You go and try to put it in the hands of God, not through yourselves, but through other men who are out here raping little boys and girls and prostituting and doing everything you can imagine. And for some strange reason, you still choose to continue on the same path that you've been on all the time, rather than change the system and allow a presentation that says that you, the people, are obligated to one another. Your life is wrapped up in the life of another person. And that you, each of you, the only way you can get this peace and prosperity and joy is to protect one another from anything, anyone that would take it away. And you go to sleep on a message like that. How and why would you go to sleep on a message like that? Is it because you're dumb? Is it because you're ignorant? Is it because you're stupid? No, ladies and gentlemen, it's not because of any of those things. The reason that you do it is because you do not have the love in your heart. You do not care for other people as you care for yourself. In fact, you hate other people. You take advantage of other people for your own interest. And that's sad. Now, I find myself hoping that maybe God will help me help you. And I don't think that God is going to do it. I think God will wait until you want God to help you. And so while you are still in my heart, and while I still want these things to happen for you, I am very doubtful. I don't think that God is going to empower me to say I am that I am, and I can spread a rod across the sea and it split for you who don't want to cross the sea. I don't think that God is going to lift up any of the things that you have created and brought to yourselves of pain and suffering when you yourselves are unwilling to do it. It will be a fight between you and God. God speaking peace and prosperity and joy for every American, and every American saying, or at least 90% of every American saying, hell no, we don't want it. Nah, I don't think that's going to happen. And history teaches us that individuals who have recognized what I've just shared with you and give you up and just try to take care of themselves and their own, who stand up against the system and you, are martyred, killed, and it's fine with you. I've heard preachers say when Dr. King came into town, they told him that he should go sit down because his life was in danger. And they were bragging that they had the knowledge that his life was in danger, and they told him, and he wouldn't listen. Now, everything that Dr. King had accomplished in his lifetime would have not ever occurred had he listened to them. Had he did like they did, or like they do. Stay home, stay inside the building and talk, which has no value. What Dr. King did was went outside the building. And now those people who are 60, 70, and 80 years old, decrepit, hurting, hopeless, because they saw things their way. And Dr. King died a young man. I don't have no idea where Dr. King is now or if he's anywhere. But I can tell you this, it appears to me that going to work for another person who's ripping you off while you're working for them, investing in what you think is peace and happiness that will not come under the current system, having a little sex every now and then, some good sex, is worth selling your soul for. So while I had hoped that we could all experience peace and prosperity and joy together, and Dr. King said one day we will all reach the promised land, I'll have to give him some credit, because I don't know, but he said it, so he must have some vision of it. I must give him his due. Because for me, all Americans, and I would say people of the world, but for this, all Americans are slaves to the anti-God. You've heard me say it 1,000 times, from the presidency, the United States Congress, the justice systems, every economic system, labor system, police system, every system in America is corrupt. Right down to the nursing homes, right down to the shelters and food shelves are all corrupt. Oh yeah, they render a little pacification here and there, but every last one of them are corrupt. And they have been imposed upon you, the people, who have been denied the peace, the prosperity, and joy that God, your Creator, has designed for you. So I don't want to have anything to do with that. So I want to live my life, and I hope that God would, but I just don't see God setting me aside, sanctified, and He's setting me aside where all my needs can be met, all my family's needs can be met, in the middle of a system that denies it to everybody else. In fact, I don't even think I would want it to be sitting up and everything is fine with me and everything is wrong with you. I'm 63 years old. Well, I'm 62 years old right now. In a month, I'll be 63. And I'm going to die one day. And I don't want to die from sickness and diseases. I really don't want to die from old age in America. So I pray that I can do something worthy to praise goodness, to praise justice and mercy, to die because I'm free. Now, I'm not asking you to come kill me. I'm asking me to stand up against everything that I see is wrong in this country, and begging people, hoping that people will see it, even though in the past they haven't. But that's still my hope. That's still my journey. That's still my mission. And if I must die, let me die in this effort. Let me have peace for dying in this effort. Let me have prosperity for dying in this effort. Let me have joy for dying in this effort. Ladies and gentlemen, some of you ought to pick up a movie. Watch the slave trade. Watch the slave business in America. Pick up some information about what was happening to the Jews in other parts of the world. Watch it and see if you are truly any different than the slaves and the Jews. I know you think you are. Some of you got a nice car. You think you got it going on. You think you are God. But just check those movies out, and you'll find that you think and act just like those individuals. Bye-bye.